Good morning, mi gente. It's 9 a.m. I know, gay people and an LGBTQ plus Kiki at 9 in the freaking morning? Well, that's why I'm still in bed, right? Me? I'm FayWhat. This program was created by Hotspots Happening Out. The FayWhat show is America's first LGBTQ plus morning show, and I'm broadcasting live and also available on demand. In 2025, our Hotspots magazine celebrates 40 years of documenting the LGBTQ plus experience. It's the largest publication of its kind in Florida and one of the oldest in America. Happening Out Television Network's Queer News Tonight is celebrating 5 years with 10,000 television stories and more than 10 million views in 2024. Hotspots Happening Out will be producing some of the most incredible LGBTQ plus events. The summer's Red Hot Pride Fest is coming up on August 9th, and I can't wait. And Pride Fort Lauderdale is coming up in February 2026. In the same model of PBS and NPR, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to educate and serve the LGBTQ plus community. It is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. We have lots of fun things to talk about, so come on, let's go.
Gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too. If you find a girl to love, only one girl to love, then she'll be that girl too. That girl.
Now let's kiki about what's going on in the LGBTQ plus community. I have a sidekick joining me in bed for our segment called Gay Boys Sleep Late. And this morning I'm joined by my gay guy pal, Jamaal L. Starks, who never sleeps late, like ever. He's a model, spiritualist, wellness counselor, part of Queer Yoga Club Miami, and HIV activist with Impulse Group, and also sits on the Men of Color Advisory Board for Vive Healthcare. Let's not forget that he walks as sex siren in the House of Gorgeous Gucci. You can find him on Instagram at @porcelain. That's PORC3LAIN. Good morning, Jay, and welcome back to my bed, boo.
Hello.
How are you?
Mwah.
How's your summer going?
It's going good.
Yeah,
It's
how was
going
your 4th of
good.
July?
It was very peaceful. I mean, people didn't pop the fireworks like they...
Like they usually do.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Maybe it's because of the bill got signed on the 4th of July.
Oh,
or maybe
yeah.
it's
That
because
big, ugly ass bill.
The big ugly bill.
Yeah.
The big bogus bill.
The big
The big
POS
bo-
bill. You know what I'm talking about. You know, that bill. You
Or
know?
because it was raining down here, like off and on. We had like some thunderstorms and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened, but it was amazing for my dogs. It was amazing for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I taught a little yoga. I got home. I cleaned up. I was eating mangoes all day.
Oh, I love that.
In bed, catching up on my shows.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is a spiritual routine, okay? Catch up with your shows and eat mangoes.
Eat
'Cause There's
mangoes.
also mango season down here, right? So, like, everybody is just, like, slipping in that mango wherever possible. It's mango salsa, mango chutney, mango smoothies, like, everywhere you go.
And Faye's been gifting me. I have a mango tree, but Faye's been gifting me wonderful mangoes. So,
I'll tell
and
you
I'm not
why.
complaining.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, right? Okay, so my tree, right? I just have one tree and I share it with my neighbor and he's awesome, right? So like I give my mangoes to people I love and it's kind of like I sing to my mango tree, I talk to my mango tree, right? And I think that that's why the mangoes come out so good. And it's like I have something to do with this mango tree giving mangoes in a weird,
I
crazy
think the
way.
same
Do
way,
you?
yes.
So when I give
I
them
think
out
the
to
same
people,
way.
I'm like giving a little bit of me
to them.
to you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And maybe when you eat that mango, you might think, oh, Faye, give me that, right? And that was like, and that makes me so effing happy.
No, I really do.
So I gave him some mangoes, right? From me, like going, you know, I fucking love you, Jay, right? Like here, these mangoes are they were my first ones from my tree, right? And he's like, oh, I got a mango tree, but I only got enough for me. Like basically saying, I got a mango tree, but you ain't never getting one
This year-
because it's only enough
This
for me.
year, my mango tree didn't like go off the way it does, but she gave me a few good mangoes. And so everybody's been gifting me mangoes, so I've been like just enjoying the abundance of reception.
So it's just hysterical because, I mean, as my spiritualist, he tells me to do these things, okay? And I do these things and they work. And then he's surprised when they work. You know what I mean?
Your mangoes are good, though. I meant to tell you.
Yeah.
From the last time, I went home and you were like, oh, my mangoes are really, no, you were like bragging. And then I got home, you know, I popped a few in the refrigerator and then I opened one and I peeled it and I took that first slice. I was like, oh, Faye.
Listen.
Your mangoes are good.
Listen.
They're like the perfect definition of like quench the thirst and sweetness.
Oh my God. And look, and I know that you folks, some of you that are mango heads are like, I'm in this. I totally get this. Others are like, wow, they're doing a whole segment on mangoes. And it is what it is. There are like 17 different mangoes. There's probably hundreds. There's probably hundreds, all right? But down here in South Florida, we have some mangoes that are called Haitian mangoes. I don't even think that they are Haitian, but they're called Haitian mangoes.
Yeah.
And then there's some other mangoos. And there's some mangoes that are hairy. Okay, and I don't know how to explain that to you. They get stuck in my teeth.
Yes. Yes. You have to be
and it can be sweet.
You have to be like a Caribbean or from a tropical place to explain mangoes.
To be so passionate about the mangoes like we are,
everything.
Okay? But the mangoes are everything.
And the
right?
avocados are coming
And
next.
the avocados are coming next, all right? All right. So next time you bite into a mango, think of me and Jamaal. All right? All right. Next, let's Kiki on this interesting story. YouTube influencer Kevin Ninh, also known as Flawless Kevin, recently came out as a transgender woman. She celebrated Pride Month by coming out in a web series documenting her transition called Diaries of a Doll. Seeing the support that the transgender character Cho Hoon-ju in the second season of Squid Games received inspired her to come out. Despite the many fans who followed her transition, it was the video she posted of her coming out to her grandmother that really melted the hearts of viewers. Watch this.
She. You want me to call you she?
I go by she, her now.
Okay.
Okay.
She. So I have two granddaughters. Is that okay?
That is okay. Is that okay with you?
Two granddaughters. Why not?
Beautiful and successful granddaughter, too.
Whatever make you happy.
Ah, you are so sweet. Love you.
Whatever make you happy.
Aww.
Oh my God, that was so cute. Influencer Kevin Ninh comes out as trans to her grandmother. What are we all talking about?
This is amazing.
That was so cute. Isn't that
was so
crazy
sweet.
how like we're like so many things happen sometimes and we're expecting the worst case scenario to happen and you've prepared yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're like, I'm gonna say this is how I'm gonna vocalize it, this is how I'm gonna ask. And then you ask it and the grandmother's like, all right, so I have two granddaughters. Okay, like no malice, no nothing.
That's how easy these things show us how easy it is. Like just how easy it is to really just respect someone.
To be a human?
To be a human. How easy it is. I've just been seeing so much over the last, I told you I was taking a social media break, but lately I've been just tapping in a little bit with TikTok and taking a few more scrolls than usual on my Instagram, and to see how much I don't even want to say ignorance or hate, just how much vitriol comes out of people with just who people want to be, how they want to be.
Yeah.
It's like minding your business, is it? And to see this is like, it's so easy.
So easy.
It's so easy.
So easy.
It's so easy.
And on social media, people hide behind that keyboard.
Yeah.
Like disgusting people. Like I was watching yesterday, they were posting, London Pride was over the weekend, right? So people were posting the flag and, everybody carrying the flag and it being beautiful. And, I don't know why we do this to ourselves, LGBTQ plus community, but we look at the comments and we know we're going to get hate.
We're going to see this
we're
stuff.
going to see disgusting stuff. And it's like, and if you dwell on that, and you're thinking, wow, we are hated. But it's ignorance. A lot of it is ignorance. And a lot of it is I have cojones behind a keyboard.
Yeah, to talk on things that I have never experienced.
And I know shit about.
So I just recently learned that only like a few percent of the population actually has had an experience with a trans person, or a knowledgeable experience with a trans person, because of course you can experience it and not know, because there are so many stealth people in the world for their safety. But that just put it all in perspective that a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. A lot of people have no idea or no firsthand experience of what they're talking about when they're behind these keyboards. They're just scrolling through, clicking clickbait,
copying what Trump says, and just doing one of those.
Doing whatever, or whoever, their friend, their lover, their parent, blah blah blah, just regurgitating information without having firsthand knowledge, experience with the other.
Yeah.
And it's so, and this that was so good.
It was so beautiful. And we got to give more credit. We got to give more credit sometimes, right? To our elders, right? Because again, she probably was expecting the worst. And look, she got welcoming. She got, okay, I have two grandmas. Like, okay. All right, okay, so what?
She probably knew the whole time. She was like,
yeah, you probably she was like, girl, please. Okay, you picked that name. Great. Fantastic. I'll go with it.
I was waiting for you to transition.
Right?
And I was waiting for this.
Because that's the thing. They always know. And they treat you like shit anyway, hoping that maybe it'll go away. And it doesn't go away that way. It doesn't work, And like, it's shocking, like what you said about the people that think they have not had an experience with a trans person, right? And I remember reading that, and I want to say it was less than 10%. Like, it was a very small number. It was like 7 or 8% of people had said that they knew a trans person, okay? Which again, we both think is bullshit, because we're everywhere, and just it's not safe for some people to come out and tell you that they're trans, you know? And I would hope that trans people would, if I were trans, I think that I would try to go and find other folks like me, you know what I mean? Because it's, fellowship and just group, strength in numbers and stuff like that, but again, we're everywhere, and there's folks going through a transition in middle America that don't have anybody around them, you know?
When I was 15, 16, it was my first encounter knowingly with a trans person. They were our neighbor. They were a married couple that lived at the end of the block, beautiful house. And I thought they were the nicest people in the world. And my mom and stepdad were like, Jamaal, why you keep talking to that thing that walks down? And I was like, what thing? You talking about the lady that lives down the street with her husband? And they were like, Jamaal, that's not a lady. And I was like, yes, she is.
She's in a dress. She's a lady.
What I saw presented was a lady. I don't care what happened. What I saw was a lady. And at that time, I was very ignorant. I was a teenager. And the hate that would come from my parents, this like ignorance, like that's disgusting. How could you go over there and say hi? I said hi to her all the time. Don't speak to her when she walks past. And then they finally said, because she's a transsexual. And I was like, okay, man. They're living their life. Yeah. They're living their life.
That's it. And there was no malice in that. It was like, okay, she's a she, and that's what's been presented to me, and that's that, And I have similar kind of stories. Like in New York and New Jersey, we had a bunch of Puerto Rican tias that just were, you know what I mean? No one talked about it. Like, I wish somebody would have sat me down and said, look, this is what I am. This is what I'm going through. But I don't think that, I all I can say is I don't think, right? Because I don't know what it was like to live during that time.
Right.
But it was just not spoken about to that degree. It just was.
It just was.
And there's no other way to explain it but that. And if you know, right? Because it's like, I wish that any of them would have sat me down and said, like, this is what we're going through. But I don't think that they knew what they were going through either during that time.
We didn't have the language.
Exactly.
We didn't have language. And we're finally getting to the place of having the language to have these conversations.
Yeah, and now they want to take it all away. Right? So much going on. All right, well, this influencer, we love it. It's beautiful.
What is her new name?
Oh God, I don't remember now. I don't remember. But I know his name was Kevin.
Is Kevin the dead name?
Yes.
Because I don't want to.
Well, but Kevin is his influencer name, so maybe he's keeping Kevin because of the followers, So, but I love that you're able to share your transition with all of us and your grandmother too.
Yeah, it was beautiful for me to see.
So beautiful, and so very Just flawless, effortless. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And this is an important conversation for our LGBTQ plus community. Help us tell these important stories by liking and subscribing to The FayWhat Show. Let's kiki on this interesting story. Haddon Township is a tiny town in South New Jersey, just across the Delaware River from Philadelphia. The small town sewer authority has a special public engagement officer who runs PR. The officer is none other than L. Bivona, a trans femme, non-binary individual who wanted to bring the underappreciated department to this year's Pride Parade. The Pride's theme was Choose Joy. And Bivona decided that the department would bring joy and silliness to, well, the sewer. Dressed as a toilet, Bivona and her crew decorated their float with poop, rainbows, and other silliness. About the parade, she said, quote, "As the sewer authority, we had so much silliness to bring to the parade. Our own theme was everybody poops. To have children scream, throw toilet paper at me, or have people chanting, go toilet, as I shook my booty in the most fantastically idiotic way I could, it was just absolute, unmitigated, unfiltered joy," end quote. Okay. How a trans utilities employee reminds us all that everyone poops. What are we all talking about?
I love this. This is like my favorite thing.
I love that that they had the cojones to do this also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you present this
Especially in South Jersey.
That's true. Like, how do you present this to your team? Okay, I want to be in this year's Pride Parade, right? And since we're the sewer system, I want it to be, controversial but relatable. I mean,
Be a toilet.
but it's, but that doesn't that bring in perspective, right? Like, I did a story the other day about a protester that was protesting at Pride, and a drag queen came over, and he was like, God and Jesus this and blah blah blah, and the drag queen said to him, sir, I just have one question for you, and then I'll listen to the rest of that stuff. What topping do you like on your pizza? And the protester stopped with all the Jesus stuff and was like, oh, I never thought about that. Well, I kind of like bacon sometimes. And it had completely changed the situation. Everybody eats pizza. Even that
pizza,
Republican guy that wants to take away our freaking rights.
Right. That brings me back to one of my grounding statements when I'm doing my spiritual talks, the things of that nature, and I find the person probably comparing and contrasting themselves with everyone, and I'm like, everybody has to go to the toilet, boo. Everybody got to take a Everybody got to sit on the pot. Everybody got to wash their butt.
Everybody. Lady Gaga. She poops.
She does.
Madonna.
I said this one time to, I love Beyonce, but I'm not a hyper. And I said this to a hyper, and they lost it on me. What? No, she doesn't. I don't want to think about it. She does not. She doesn't. No. She does not. She would never do that.
She farts roses.
And I was like, she farts. She shits. She eats. She showers. She has to.
But why, right? Why do we separate? We put these people on pedestals, and then we think that they don't have human reactions. They eat food. They gotta poop.
That's what disassociates your humanness from humanity. And that's why I love this so much, because this person is just really playing with the silliness of life, grounding everybody. Like, everybody takes a poo, and guess what? We wash your poo, and we wash the water, and we send the water back to you clean.
Yep.
If it wasn't for us, this department, gay and all, trans and all, there's civil servants everywhere from every walk of life. We all go through very shared experiences that ground us as humans, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, it really does it puts everything in perspective. Kudos to this. Kudos to this utilities worker. I love that they came up with this idea. It's funny. It's informative. It's fun. It's silly. It makes you think, all with poop. I mean, yeah. This is an important conversation for our LGBTQ plus community. Help us tell these important stories by liking and subscribing to The FayWhat Show. Let's kiki on this interesting story. Actress and comedian Niecy Nash had 3 weddings. Her first 2 were to men and were big events. The second one was even filmed for reality TV. The third one, to her now wife, after she came out of the closet, was a private affair in her yard. The wedding to the love of her life was officiated by actor Colman Domingo, his sexy ass. Nash was not happy with the bright yellow and black outfit that Domingo wore, saying jokingly, quote, I have a grudge against him because I don't know what he is wearing. I never forgave him for that. I am like, it's a wedding. He looked like a beautiful bumblebee. I said, you are my officiant. You don't got black slacks laying around or nothing? It made me so upset, end quote. Niecy Nash is still holding a grudge against sexy ass Colman Domingo. What are we all talking about?
So I have had this crazy obsession with Niecy Nash since Reno 911.
Shut up.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love her.
I love her. Ever since Reno.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah. That was out forever.
That was out a long time ago.
Yep.
I've had this crazy obsession just with her.
And before you even knew she was queer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how funny.
I just loved her.
Yeah.
I just always thought, this lady would be like a safe space for me and a great friend. She's just amazing.
She's just amazing.
And funny as hell.
But I mean, have you ever gone to a wedding and said, okay, I'm a guest, right? I'm not going to wear white. Certain things not to wear.
Mm-mm. I've always worn So me and my brother had this debate the other day because he's going to three of his all of his friend guys and girls. They're always getting married. Something with this 25 to 30-year-old generation, they actually get married. Stuff. I don't know. While we older millennials are But he's been to 3 weddings. He's like, Jay. So, the theme of the wedding is these colors. Should he go in these colors or should he go with a more neutral color? And I'm like, I always went with the theme of the wedding.
Okay.
If it's royal blue and champagne, I will wear the royal blue or champagne. If it's green.
Yeah.
I'll go find something green and wear the green of the theme of the color. So I always have this, what is the rule? Because I don't know the rule.
Yeah, but I think that's okay. I think that if your theme color is royal blue and you have a beautiful accent, right, with the color, then you don't look like the wedding party, right? You just look like you're supportive.
Okay.
Right? Now, for a girl, you never wear white because you never ever upstage the bride or whoever wants to wear white. When it comes to 2 boys, you don't wear white.
Okay.
And that to me means no beige, no off-white, nothing that even looks similarly to white in the sun or nothing.
Okay.
Okay. Then red. You don't wear red because red is kind of you want the wedding to not survive.
Oh.
It's
unless that's the theme of the
wedding. Because there's also Gothic weddings where people wear all kinds of crazy shit, and that's all fine and good. I think the accent's okay.
Okay.
I think that you're supporting, but you don't look like you're part of it.
Because my brother was like, if you go with the theme of the wedding, you look like you're a part of the
wedding.
Yeah. Now, the bumblebee thing.
Well, okay, but Colman has some style.
He does.
Okay, and he's got it's agile. His style is agile because he'll look proper and then he'll look.
Do we have a picture of what he wore?
Oh, I don't know if we have a picture, but he was wearing some outlandish suit, and she wanted him to be in black pants and a white top, be the efficient. Don't take away from because you're also taking pictures with the couple, and if you're wearing some bright ass shit, it takes away from the couple's pictures.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It takes the sight away.
Yeah.
So, but I love that Niecy Nash is still holding a grudge. She's, I'll never forget that shit. He wore this to my wedding.
She can't. It's in the photo album.
Yeah, that's true too.
And it's probably on the internet somewhere.
That's true too.
Wait, was that it? That just popped
Steve,
up?
was that was Niecy Nash and her wife, right?
Oh, I see it. Oh no, Colman.
No.
Oh no.
I think he did that out of spite,
no.
though. I think he did that out of spite because he could. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
And he could have worn green to go with it. It's a beautiful wedding.
Gorgeous.
They look great.
Gorgeous. And she looks happy.
Colman does not look great in that outfit.
No.
I don't like it.
No. I usually think Colman could wear anything, but yeah. Anyway, this is an important conversation for our LGBTQ plus community. Help us tell these important stories by liking and subscribing to The FayWhat Show. At the the FayWhat Show, we need to help my gay boys. I mean, they are the blood that goes through my veins. In our segment called Dear FayWhat, I provide my expert lesbian knowledge and my vast experience as a living, breathing gay boy in a lesbian's body to help my fellow gay boys. This week, Sister Sinful But Spiritual sent us an email. Dear FayWhat and Hot Man, that's you.
Okay.
I'm a drag queen here in South Florida. You know me, so I won't say a lot. Shit.
Oh.
That sucks. I perform, I empower, I slay. But every time I walk off stage, I hear my old church in my head. I grew up in a super religious household. My mama would drag us to church every Sunday, and they drilled into us that being gay, let alone doing drag, was a ticket straight to hell. Now I'm out, proud, and even successful. But when I sit alone, I wonder, does God really love me? Like, in the wig, the lashes, the boots, everything? Or am I just kidding myself? I want to believe there's room for both my faith and my fears. Can I be both a queen and a child of God with love and setting spray? Sister Sinful, but spiritual. I know. It's a big onion. I know. And this is what I'm thinking, all right? Honey, first of all, who are you? Tell me who you are. Is it UTP? Daisy? You sure?
Or maybe a younger one.
You sure? Amanda? Aaliyah J, you look like you need to go to church. Who could it be? Kelly Raspberry, you also need to go to... I mean, I could name all the drag queens. A lot of you need Jesus. So, I mean... All right. First of all, let me tell you this with my entire chest, okay? Yes, God loves you. In drag, out of drag, naked, full beat, barefaced, barefooted. You are divinely made. Sequin, sass, and all. And guess what? I host church services almost every Sunday at Unity on the Bay, right in Miami, a place that knows love has no dress code. We are on the queer church campus at Sunshine Cathedral, all right? So let me break it down for you. Religion may have rules, but faith is about relationships, and your relationship with spirit seems to be good, all right? Work on that. Right? It's not threatened by a little contour and, some setting spray. It's threatened by your truth. So I think that I think that there's, of course, space for your relationship with a higher power and your drag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you already know what I'm about to say. Yeah. As a spiritualist myself and gone through, I grew up Baptist, Jehovah's Witness, I left the church, I left organized religion, only to find my way back to my own relationship with God. God is who you think of it, she, him to be. And if you believe that an all-loving, all-powerful, benevolent God is watching over you, well, then they love you in all of your humanness because they created humans, right? So you have to get into your body and start speaking to yourself with grace. Start speaking to yourself with kindness because that's what a loving God would do, period. We love you.
Yeah.
And that is God's divine grace and love shining through and coming right back to you in all of your beauty and your essence and all of who you are and all of your truth and existence and all of the gorgeous things. That's God. That is God. Community is God. Yeah. Family is God. And family isn't who talks down at you, it's who supports you. And we talked about chosen family, me and you, right on here, talked about chosen family, because that is how you find your pathway and strengthen your relationship with the divine within. It's not anything external, it's all within. So the more you settle into yourself, the more you love yourself, the more you allow love to fall in, you will find out that you are loved immensely beyond measure, and you haven't met all the people in your life that's going to love you. And as my spiritual mentor / sis taught me, there is nothing about you that is inherently unworthy.
I love that. Erica Norell. It's probably Erica. Or Velvet. It could be Velvet too. Drag queens do God's work.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
you're giving life to people.
Straight up, think about these drag shows. Think about they're full of mostly straight people.
Yes.
Okay? It's
straight people who are enamored, like I could only tell you, so my ex is Trinity, people know that. And she did a number on my sister's birthday, and I took my sister to go see. She knew her everything when Hamburger Mary's was on the drive, and my sister's eyes were so full of light. And then afterwards, she was like, Jay. She was like, Jay, I can feel the life coming off of her every time she performs. She was like, it gives me so much life. Like, I can feel the energy. It just fills me. She was like, it's every time. It's like something new. Every time she performs, I am just so, she was like, it has to be like something divine. And this is from a straight woman.
Yes.
A straight woman who is
church-going woman. Yeah.
Who is just like, no.
Wow.
This is God.
This is God right here.
This is God right here.
Yeah.
This is God. So you are doing God's work. That's why they come and tip you. That's why they love you. That's why people love it.
Exactly. Okay, so like we punish ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
We do the punishing.
We do the punishing.
We do the punishing.
Right? You're punishing yourself for nothing. You know, come to Sunshine Cathedral. Go to Unity on the Bay. Go to a queer church. Go to a black church. Go to a church. Okay? I promise you that you're going to be welcomed, right? And just find your tribe. And, you know, we're taught at Unity on the Bay that God, like what Jay said, God is not external. You're God. You know what I mean? You are it.
You are a part of this whole mechanism. Also, can you please email Faye of who you are? Because no, seriously, because Impulse, we're starting a podcast, and this is one of the topics. This is literally one of the topics.
Okay.
Literally, we were looking for a drag queen, or people who are really wrestling with their faith.
Yes.
And so that we can really uncover and have this real conversation.
Yes. Okay. And so your email address didn't give it away either. So email me back and tell me who you are. And for future reference, when you guys send me an email, don't say you know me, because then I'm going to be a mess for days trying to figure out who you are. Every person, after I read this email, and I knew I was going to do it with Jay, every single time I went somewhere, I was like,
You?
You know, I saw Amanda Austin out of drag yesterday. I was like, was it you? She's like, what are you talking about? I don't even email you, right? She's like, I don't even got your phone number. Well, honey, again, you are doing the Lord's work. That is spiritual AF, okay? And keep doing what you're doing, boo, all right? And folks out there, keep writing and sending your questions over to us, because we love to help. FayWhat at happeningout.com, okay? And this is an important conversation for our LGBTQ plus community. Help us tell these important stories by liking and subscribing to The FayWhat Show. It's time for the big interview. So at The FayWhat Show, we want to introduce you to interesting people who are important to our LGBTQ plus community and important to me. And today, we're getting into bed with a man who is admired, accomplished, and let's be real, absolutely freaking gorgeous. He's a best-selling author, award-winning activist, powerhouse speaker, trained vocalist, and sports-loving snack. Please welcome to my bed my fabulous friend and the star of this morning's show, Terry Dyer. Terry, welcome to my bed, boo!
I'm excited. It's comfy.
Is it? You know that TP Lords designed this whole bed?
I love her.
Now it's even more comfortable now,
her.
right?
Knowing it comes from her. Hey, TP.
So you look super cute in your pajamas, and I'm glad that, you know, like when I asked you, I'm like, put on your pajamas, and you're like, well, Faye, like my PJs are usually like a big old t-shirt or nothing, right? And I'm like, well, okay, just wear something that you want to represent. You're like, I'll represent Flockfest.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, that works for me, you know?
Those are our boys.
What's up? Big shout out going out to the boys from Flockfest. They're going to have their beach party coming up July 12th. And that's the only event I go to in the summer.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's too hot. I'm like, I'm black. I melt. Hello.
It's too much. It's too much. So, you know, I wanted to bring Terry on the show because he's got a new book out, and his first book is just so incredible. And I needed to share all this with you. That's how powerful and important it is, you know? So, Terry, how are you feeling about the book launch that's coming up?
I am incredibly excited. I am proud. I was very proud of book number 1 that came out 5 years ago, but this one, there's just so much more depth to it. There's so much more authenticity. I'm not calling out, I'm calling in our communities and things that we need to do better as people, and being kinder to each other. We're living in these crazy, crazy times, and we just got to hold each other so much more now than ever. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So Terry's new book, Surviving and Thriving as a Gay Black Man, officially launches July July 15th, and you can get your copy on Amazon, all right? But don't wait. Pre-orders are live now, you know? And so before we dive into the deep stuff about your book, let's warm up a little with a quick game.
Okay, love it. Let's do it.
So rapid fire style. Okay, it's gonna be like I scream. I usually scream. I give you a question and you answer the first thing that comes to mind. You ready?
Perfect.
Okay, your first celebrity crush.
Oh my gosh, Will Smith.
Really?
Will Smith.
Wow.
Fresh Prince of
Welcome
Bel-Air.
to Miami. Last TV show you binged.
Ooh, Matlock.
Oh my
The
God!
new series.
Yes. With
Kathy
what's her
Bates.
face? Kathy Bates is everything.
good.
Everything.
So
Oh my God!
good.
You gotta watch that. Okay.
Yes.
What song always gets you in your feelings?
Oh gosh, you know I'm a vocalist, so lyrics mean everything to me. There is a song called "We Can Be Kind," and right now it's just meaning so much more to me than anything.
And
So,
when you hear it, it touches you, right?
absolutely.
Okay, go-to comfort food after a hard day, like he eats.
Oh gosh, I'm afraid to admit this. Fried chicken.
There ain't nothing wrong with
Fried
that.
chicken.
There ain't nothing wrong with that.
My roommate
Listen.
makes fun of me, but I love fried chicken.
Oh man, like, is there a specific place that you like it
Oh,
from,
I
or
don't
just
wanna
it don't matter?
I don't want to tell.
Okay, let's say it. It's Popeyes, all right? Or Churches, or it could be KFC.
oh, so
it don't
good.
matter. Sometimes that Publix chicken, you walk by it and you're like,
breaded.
you're like, was this always that good? It be smelling good as hell when you're
Yes.
trying to do your shopping. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. And last rapid fire question: name one person who inspires you right now.
Oh gosh, always a dear local friend, and I tell him this all the time. Everything that he does is the consummate professional, and he focuses on inclusivity across the entire board. My dear friend David Jobin.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, and when you think of someone who can be a mentor, someone who can inspire, that's David Jobin. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He is the head honcho over at our fund and OUR fund, right? Foundation. And, you know, it's just, you don't even have to be David Jobin's friend, right? I'm an acquaintance. I'm not that cool of a cool kid. I'm not that much of a cool kid yet to be like friends with David Jobin like that. But just by watching him in circles, what he does, you can learn from, right?
Absolutely.
Be punctual, show up for people, be professional, know that your words have power.
Yes.
Like things like this, right?
Yes.
You know, make everything short and sweet. David Jobin gave me the biggest compliment one day. I was hosting something and he's like, I love how you host an event. Short and sweet. There's no
Yes.
dead time. We are in and out in 2 hours
Yes.
and I get to go home. And I'm like, you're welcome, right? Like,
What do you say to that?
say to that? But I knew I was doing something right.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's
And
right.
that's it. And that's it. And that's the kind of people that we need, like at the helm, or
Yes.
to be able to go to. You know, these are the people who lead, but they also are not. They act like they're not in front of you. They walk like they're walking next to you.
You're their
you know?
teammate.
Yeah.
You're their teammate. They're not there to outshine you. They're not there to, take over. He is the ultimate, first of all, like very, very dear friend. Not a lot of people know, but we spend every few weeks like one-on-ones with each other, usually cocktails.
Yeah.
Right. But we have just gotten to know each other on such a personal level and realizing that we have such commonalities with music in San Francisco and people in common from San Francisco. So I love our one-on-one times because it's not necessarily always about work. It's just about two friends like Kiki, like we're doing
Shooting
right now.
the shit.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean? And
That's
there's
right.
something about our community that sometimes it's like you will be in the same room with somebody that you probably would have never been friends with, right? Where it's like not like your normal circle of friends. All of a sudden you're hanging out with David Jobin and you're learning something
100%.
from someone like that.
Absolutely.
You know, and those are the people that I try to stick near me. Those are the people I want to surround myself with.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to be the dumbest one in my circle.
That part. What else can I learn?
What else can I learn from
Absolutely.
you? People stop learning.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, people stop learning and there's no reason, right? Continue to stay teachable. It's very important. All right, now let's get down and dirty and let's talk about this book, okay? Because I am so excited about surviving and thriving as a gay Black man. It's bold, raw, and like so needed, you know? What made now the right time to tell this chapter?
I think for me, I was ready. I've learned
years?
a lot. 5 years ago was book number 1, Letters to a Gay Black Boy. And a lot has happened in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yes.
So about a year and a half ago, I said, you know what? I think it's coming to me. You know what I mean? Different situations, different experiences that I have learned over the last few years. I said, it's now time to use those teachable moments, right?
Yeah.
Educational opportunities for all of us to learn,
Yes.
as you were just referring
Yes.
to. And then really just to push the envelope around authenticity and identifying who we are as an individual, who we are as a people, who we are as a culture, right? We get so caught up in our everyday lives and we want my community, my funding dollars, et cetera, et cetera. We need to be standing together,
Yeah.
right? So much more now than ever. And so why not have a book where there's a guide to that?
I love that. And like you said, so much has happened in the last 5 years,
Yes.
right? 2020 was when his first book came out, and it was July 2020. Okay, if you folks remember where you were July 2020, it was mask time, it
Yes.
was lockdown time.
Black Lives
it
Matter.
was Black Lives Matter time.
Yep.
I mean, it was George Floyd time.
Yes.
It was so much. I'm getting goosebumps. Then you fast forward a couple of years, it was, Trump time
Ugh.
and Trump's coming time,
Ugh,
and
here we go.
and and
Yes.
Kamala and the possibilities and
Yep.
Black joy and what could happen, and then being crushed.
Like, damn it.
And all those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and experiences were downloaded to Terry Dyer, and you
100%.
needed to put this on paper.
I did. And it's really also something that someone said after they read a few chapters and read the description of the book. One of the things that they said is, I don't even think you realize how much hope you're putting into this book. And then I thought to myself, they were right? Like, I wasn't necessarily writing to focus on hope. It was just to get these things out there and say, we need to do better. But then as things progressed, as writing progressed, I found myself, after talking to that friend, going back to chapters and saying, all right, what's the lesson here? How do I provide more hope for us as things continue to change and unravel in our current state? So,
Oh my God!
yeah.
Wow. Well, you said that this book is more than a memoir, right? It's a beacon.
Yes.
Right? Can you talk about that? Like, what do you hope readers, especially Black queer folks, take from these pages that have bled from you, basically?
I think one of the biggest pieces is knowing that we are fabulous no matter what, right? We need to start owning our sass. We need to start owning our creativity. We need to start owning our brilliance. So often our voices are siloed. We are oppressed continuously, right? That is still prevalent in our community today. And I think so often people shy away from being their authentic selves.
Yeah.
Right. And now I'm getting choked up because it's sad to see that in 2025, this is where we are as a community, as in a culture, right? And then the other thing that I think is so incredibly important is we need to hold each other accountable.
That's the tough one right
Yes.
there, because we're all good when we're all happy and it's pride and yay.
Yes.
But when we have to call out our friend
Yes.
for being a bad gay, which
Yes.
a lot of us have done it.
100%.
We all make mistakes. None of us are God or anything.
right.
But it's harder sometimes to call out your friend with some shit
Yes.
than it is, someone you don't know. You might have worked with them on other things that were
Yes.
spectacular, and all of a
Yes.
sudden they met somebody new, and all of a sudden veered off. No, because this is what happens in our community.
Constantly.
And then nobody called them out on that.
Right. Nobody held them accountable.
Nobody held them accountable.
Right. So that's what I'm doing. And I know all the time we say things like, oh, we got to call this out. I don't necessarily always like to use that term or that phrase.
Okay,
like call them in.
Yes,
Use
no,
that as
you're
an
right.
educational opportunity. Lead with love and grace and kindness. That's how we continue these conversations in order to make effective change.
Have you ever had a conversation with someone trying to instill this with them? For example, 2020 was rough. Black Lives Matter was a real deal. Here we are 5 years later, and I don't know if many people learned shit from them.
That part.
And this is coming from a white presenting person. I'm very well aware of my privilege in that part, right? I'm brown on the inside, but if I don't open my mouth, you don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so how do you tell these folks that here we are 5 years later, we're still in the fight? Like, more needs to be done. We need to unify instead of each doing their own thing.
Correct. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, with privilege comes great responsibility, right? So we need to start using that privilege, right? Like you just talked about being presenting as a white person. Well, you do this. One of the reasons why you and I absolutely love each other, right? You stand in that privilege and you hold folks accountable. You and a lot of people obviously don't know this either, but our one-on-one talks for an hour on the phone, like I know and realize you understand the privilege and the space that you hold for our people, right? Does that mean that you are shying away from your authentic self? No, you just understand that you hold a space that not a lot of people do in the LGBTQ and the BIPOC space, and you hold that in such high regard that you are going to do everything in your power to make sure that we're a united front.
Well, I have to. And if I'm sitting at the table, I have told one of my best friends, Adriana Tender from Trans Inclusive Group, I have said countless, when we became good friends, I said, girl, if I'm at a table and there's not a Black person or a trans person there, I'm gonna call them out. That's it. That's going to be my job from now on, and a placeholder. And I wait and I wait to be asked what to do when it comes to certain events and certain, Juneteenth, whatever it is, right?
Yep.
I'm here to serve. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to serve. What do you want me to do for
Absolutely.
you? Absolutely. And for whatever reason, that seems to be very difficult for some white presenting folks to do. You laugh, but I'm serious. You know what I mean? Where I have to remind some of my Cuban friends that are light, right? That I'm like, you Spanish, okay? You are not white. I don't care what you think. No, yo soy blanca. You are not white. You know what I mean? Trump thinks you're Mexican. Let's begin there.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think so often, folks don't necessarily want to push the envelope or ruffle feathers.
Or ruffle anything.
Right.
Of course.
And in order for us to get comfortable, we're going to have to be uncomfortable. And that is a foreign and scary concept for a lot of people. And so anytime there is going to be some uncomfortability, folks will shy away from that. Oh, I don't want to rock this, or oh, they may not give me funding, or oh, they may not work with me anymore. That's
or he might not be my friend, or he just might not be my friend. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I mean, these are uncomfortable conversations that you might want to have, but that you need to have.
Yep.
If you're going through life tiptoeing around your BIPOC friends, not knowing exactly what to do, have a freaking conversation. Right. I mean, you've been a voice for justice for 20 years now? Jeez, I'm sorry. Baby, you look good. You use olive oil. You use olive oil and black don't crack, all right? And that's real legacy work when you start thinking of 20 years of doing this, What's something that you've learned along the way about being visible, vulnerable, and vocal?
I think one of the biggest things that I have learned, especially moving to South Florida, is I and some friends here all sort of make fun of me, and I'm the joking person, right? Even if something is sensitive or taboo, I always make a joke.
You're always going to make a joke. You're made light of it, yes.
100%. And if we can't laugh at ourselves, then what are we doing?
No.
Right? So I always say, they always sort of make fun of me about code switching. Right? They're like, oh, but you get along with all the white folks. Like they all love you, blah, blah, blah. And they've called me out on being sort of the token one from time to time. And I think for me, that has been something over the last few years that has sat with me.
In a negative?
In a way that I've heard them, I've received it, and I figured out, okay, so how do I use this to give back to people that look like me? Right? I hear what they're saying and how I'm walking through and navigating these spaces that are non-folks of color. But how do I take those relationships and those powerful spaces that I've been a part of? How do I take that and bring that knowledge and that information back to my community, right?
Yes.
And not just my LGBTQ community, but my BIPOC community, my Black and Brown community, right? So I think that's been one of the biggest lessons that I have learned.
That's an incredible lesson, though, because think about it. Somebody else might think I'm being tokenized. F you. You know what I mean? I can relate. Obviously, most of the tables that I'm at, I'm the only girl there. Most of the tables that I'm at, I'm the only Latina at the table, you know? And I know that I'm called to do certain things because I am Latina and a woman, you know? And at that moment, it's like, okay, do I mind being tokenized? I need that money in my pocket also. You know what I mean? But I've never taken it past that point. With this conversation, I need to take it past that point.
Correct.
Okay, so I am being tokenized, but how can I make that so I can help other Latina lesbians be in the same space that I'm being allowed to be in?
Correct.
epiphanies are happening right here on the FayWhat
This
show.
is how we do it.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I got goosebumps because
Right.
again,
Right.
it's like we're so marginalized, Terry, that
Yes.
we don't take the thought process the whole way through.
Well, and one of the things that I have found, and I've loved my time here in South Florida, but one of the things that I have seen over the years is folks saying, yes, I'm all about diversity, equity, inclusivity. I'm all about bringing more entertainment here. I'm all about bringing more voices here. I'm all about this. But then when it really gets down to building the space or doing the actual work, people are like, oh, wait, that's what that meant? That's what I was supposed to do, right? Intentionality is a real thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think so often we get caught up in, sure, yeah. Like I'm here for it. But then when it comes down to stand with the folks or do the actual work, so often people are like, oh, I didn't know that that's what that meant. We need to do better.
We need to do better.
Yep.
Okay, so let's pause for, with the heavy stuff for just 1 second because I know that you're a big sports head.
I am.
Right? Tennis, gym life, ESPN. Give us your dream doubles match.
Oh,
and
gosh.
yes, it can be shirtless.
I mean, of course. Of course. I mean, my dream doubles match. I mean, I've been to the gay games multiple times. In tennis, my brother and I were the #1 seeds in Paris. Yes. So I've been around this sport for a long time. It wasn't my first sport, but unfortunately, after my knee replacement, this is really the sport that I can only do now. So for me, I would say being back at the gay games with my brother and playing doubles, like against whomever, best of the best.
I
We
love
want
that.
to beat the best of the best. And I've learned so much by being here and playing with the South Florida Tennis Club here. Shout out to all the boys and the wonderful competitors that are doing amazing work to be inclusive with tennis and bringing more health and wellness, adding more, trans inclusivity
I love that.
into the sport as well.
I love that.
So amazing. I'm so
Some more
proud of
BIPOC inclusivity as well. I mean, for the most part, when you think of tennis, golf, hockey, you think of it being a white sport.
100%.
It's expensive to play these certain kind of
100%.
games, and so a lot of us don't. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So to
Correct.
bring that visibility to that is also fantastic.
100%.
I gotta ask you about pickleball. Okay, because everybody plays pickleball, and it's like tennis, pickleball, right? And now Fort Lauderdale is like the pickleball,
Oh my gosh.
capital of the world or whatever.
Yep.
Do you play that?
Okay, so here's what's very, very funny. I have dear, love him dearly, Mark Barr, shout out to you. He has been texting me for years now.
Years.
When are you playing? When are you playing?
Years.
When are you playing? When are
Okay.
you playing? You gonna come and join my group? No, bro, I am not coming to join pickleball. I love my tennis too much, right? And because of the knee replacement that I had a few years ago, I'm always sort of careful about adding new stuff. I don't want to mess anything up, that sort of thing. However, 2 weeks ago, I was in Tucson, Arizona at a conference.
Okay.
The final night, they took us to this really cool outdoor-indoor space that had courts outdoors and indoors. And I said, I'm finally going to get to play.
You're like, I'm not in South Florida. Mark
Let's
is not
do it
around.
at
I'm going to do
all,
it.
At all. Let's do this. And they paired us up, and it was such a serendipitous moment. I got to pair up with a dear friend and colleague from San Francisco who's been a mentor almost 20 years as well. And he had never played.
Oh, okay.
Never played. So our first time out, we played against a female duo team. We were down 0-7. I said, what am I doing? What am I doing? I hate this sport.
So it
What
was
am I
totally
doing?
different then.
It was so different.
Having that tennis background did not help you at all.
Well, everybody kept saying, you're hitting the ball like a tennis ball. You're hitting it too hard. Like, slow down. I'm such a power and fast player. So they're like, slow it down, slow it down. We came back and ended up losing 8-11, but then I played 5 or 6 more games, and my partner and I, we went undefeated. They were like, okay, we get it. We see the tennis skills. So I love it now. I cannot wait to play
I
again.
love it. All right. Okay. We have to play. Let's do this. I'm saying it live so we could do this. You and me have to play the mayor of Wilton Manors.
Oh,
Scott
I
Newton.
love him. He's
Scott
so awesome.
Newton.
Yes.
Him and Nora, they always
Yes.
play, and they're always please play. And I'm like, I don't have a second person. The Cuban is never going to go. Okay? You and me against them.
Done. I love it.
Mayor, we're coming for you.
Let's do it.
All right?
That's a challenge.
That's it. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, Terry, balance is something that you live by, that you strive by, that you scream about. All right? How do you protect your peace while still being so visible in our community? And I say that because, you know, our community is lovely. Okay? We get to get dressed up and we get to go and have good food and partake and stuff like that. But our community also cancels a mother in a second. You know what I mean? Like, we can uplift, but we can also splat all at the same time. Like,
Yep.
How do you keep the peace?
I think one of the things, I think that's such a great question. And one of the things that I've learned a tremendous lesson on is not allowing somebody else to steal my joy. Not allowing somebody else to affect my peace. And you know this, right? Like I work so hard in so many different areas and sports in the gym and, you know, consulting with different folks all over the country, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot on my plate. I have had to really sort of just sit in silence sometimes and just say, now's the time to reconnect with yourself. And it's not an easy thing to do, right? A lot of us aren't necessarily taught how to be one with ourselves.
How to be still.
How to be still. How to be alone, right? I talk to friends about this all the time. Oh, why are you going to dinner by yourself? Why are you taking yourself on a date? Girl, because I love myself.
And I deserve it. I've been good.
That
you know
part,
what I mean?
That part. So I think, and don't get me wrong, like it's still a progress for me. Like I'm constantly learning and trying to check in with myself, especially over the last couple of weeks and all the traveling that I've been doing and all the things that are coming up with the book tour. I have to find those moments where I can just sit in silence and check in with myself.
But it's important.
Yes.
It's important. There are people that have to have like the TV on in their homes because they always need kind of noise around, right? And like you need to figure out where that silence is. That spot of silence will be like your go-to in times of crisis, in times of hurt, in times of whatever. Let me go find my center.
Absolutely.
It's
your safe haven.
Your safe spot, you know, and it's not a place. It's in you, right? So if you're in a hotel room or if you're outside or if you're at a park, even if you're in your freaking car, you know, you stop and you go, okay, I got to bring it back. I need to chill, you know? Terry, let's bring it back to the book, okay, for a second, because, oh my God, I could talk to Terry for like 3 hours here. Oh my Lord. You should see us on the phone. It starts off with one thing, and then we're like talking about like North Carolina and some mountains and something that he ate yesterday. Anyway, you write about pride, not just as a celebration, but as survival. Right? You know, how does that shift the conversation for the community?
One of the things that I've also learned, life to me is always learning, always about life lessons.
Staying teachable.
100%. I think one of the things that's so incredibly fascinating is we get, and this is just me, and I don't speak for everybody, right? I only think or speak from my lived experiences. I have watched for years pride be about corporations, you know, checking boxes, you know, for 30 days out of the year. But what about the rest of the 300 and something days of the year where you're not prideful, you're not showing? So for me, it's all about making sure that everything that we do aligns with the pride that we want to carry, right? Pride to me starts within ourselves, right? So for me, especially over the last couple of years being here in South Florida, I've had to learn how to step in my own pride. Being Black, being gay, being young. Yeah, I'm young. Being young, right? Those things are not always, you know, celebrated. Right? There's always negative connotations or there's always oppression around them. So I think for me, it's just stepping into what pride actually means to me. I take a tremendous amount of pride in my work and we're having work ethic. And I think so often as a people, as a community, as a culture, we do not. Right? So I think it's just figuring out what that actually means to you and living every single day in that pride. Everything that you do should have some element of pride. You can lay your head at the end of the day going, I'm proud of what I did today. I don't think we think about those sorts of things constantly.
No, I don't. Oh, wow. Incredible. Terry, what's one thing that Terry Dyer still wants to do that might surprise people?
Oh, gosh. So you mentioned this, being a trained opera singer, and I don't necessarily sing a lot now, like I do concerts from time to time, but
I've been blessed to see him sing twice, and amazing. Look it up on YouTube.
Thank you. I think one of the things that I would love to still do at 18, I was invited to, with the ensemble, the choir in college, to perform at Carnegie Hall.
Ooh.
And we ended up not going. I think it was a political thing way back in 90s.
See, we had political stuff back then.
We did. But I think for me, it's just having that opportunity at some point in my life to sing on a stage like that. I think that would be something that I
can see that though, Terry. That's an attainable.
Yeah.
That's an attainable dream. I love that. I love when you have, it's like, I'm going to win $15 million. You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's a possibility, but I mean, that's something that you can truly manifest.
Yes.
Yes. Before we wrap up, I got to ask, is it hard to date you?
Ooh!
I went there. You were waiting.
There.
You were waiting for that. I know you were.
He is going there.
I know you were waiting for that.
Oh man, how much time we got? That's a long, answer. Okay, so see again. I keep talking about lessons learned in the last few years, and many people that know me out there in social media land, etc., knows that I in the last 5 years have dated quite a bit here in South Florida.
And that's allowed, Terry.
It is. My friends all joke and sort of call me the black male gay version of J-Lo, like I'm always in a relationship.
Always.
Right. But one thing that I have learned and finally have come to terms with is I don't need to settle. Like, I'm finally comfortable in my own skin, and I'm comfortable being by myself. If I am alone, not that I want to be, but, not in an intimate relationship over, the next 20 years of my life, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I got work to do.
Yes.
I'm busy.
Yes.
Right?
Why? Listen, okay, in your own, personal opinion you're also an incredible coach, and you also mentor other people. Why are some people so afraid to be alone?
Oh,
gosh.
I
how much time do I have,
right?
No, because, Terry, I loved being single.
Yeah.
I effed the world. Whew. Whoa. Everywhere I could. Woo. It was a blast, right?
Me too, girl.
And then when it happened. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm done with that. I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I tell my single friends, the universe smells desperation. If you're desperate, looking for it, the other person's not looking for you. Or better yet, if your person is out there, they're busy taking care of some shit right now.
Right.
That they've got to take care of before you're even in the picture.
So one of the things that I love to talk to other single friends about is, I try to date this guy. I try to blah, 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 blah. Stop trying to date somebody. Let somebody come chase you, right? It's human nature. We don't always do the necessary work on ourselves in order to be right with somebody else. Right?
I'm feeling RuPaul right now. Right. Isn't it what RuPaul says, right? Right? But it's true.
So true.
How do you expect for someone to love you if you don't love you?
That part. And I think even though a lot of people like to mask it, I'm good with myself, when it comes down to the actual work and who you are inside, a lot of people aren't in touch with that. And so if you're not in touch with that, boo, how do you expect somebody else to see the level of vulnerability that it takes to have a happy, healthy relationship? And I think for me, I have an aunt in California that always says she loves that I'm always putting my heart on my sleeve. She's like, that one didn't work great. Let's try the next. That's true simply because I have a lot of love to give. I want to give it. I want to share it. If it doesn't come back to me in that intimate way, that's okay. I'll just get it in other spaces.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not going to allow a space where I'm not treated
how you're supposed to be. I tell my friends all the time, why are you entertaining crumbs when you deserve the whole plate? You.
That part.
You know what I mean? In Spanish, there's a saying that says, mejor sola que mal acompañada. Better alone than in bad company.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean? Why am I carrying you around? Let me take care of me,
100%.
And, we all have trauma.
Yes.
We all have some trauma in our community. If you think you don't, bitch, you wrong, okay? You wrong.
Right.
And until you work through that, I'm not saying go to therapy, but if you can, do so, right?
100%.
But there's fellowship groups, there's all kinds of things that we can do. Be Fair counseling on commercial. Tommy does whole BIPOC, workshops where people just come in and talk about what's going on with their days and their lives.
That's right.
You better yourself So when that person comes along, you are prepared with the best version of you
That part.
to give to this person.
That part.
If you're broken, how do you expect to go and find that person
That's
to
right.
complete you? You know, I love my wife, Teresa. You are the shit. I
Amazing.
adore you. But you don't complete me. You don't. You know what I
And
mean?
that one person is not supposed to
Not so,
complete
no, but God,
everything.
that's a lot of pressure on that person too.
Also true. Also very true.
You know?
And why would we as individuals want to put that amount of pressure? Like that person is never going to live up to whatever the expectations are that you have for them.
Yes.
If you don't allow them to love you the way they know how to love you.
Yes.
But you also have to know how to love yourself. And people are attracted to that.
Mm-hmm.
People are attracted to that. And I think for me, it's if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest things that I've learned from people that I've dated here in the last few years is I demand a high level of communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think that a strong, happy, healthy relationship can last without effective communication. That means having the tough, hard conversations.
Mm-hmm.
That means being able to sit at a table or a couch or wherever and be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
to that other person, right? Let them see the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes. Take the interview face down.
Yes. Yes.
This is who I am with all my baggage and all the shit that's wrong with me.
Absolutely. And if they can't love that, then that's not the person for you.
Someone needed to hear that, right? It probably was you saying. I'm
Just
saying.
say it.
Terry, thank you so much for being in bed with me, being real, and just being the light that you are, Bobby. You know that I adore you.
Thank you. I adore you too.
Mwah. Okay, so y'all get this book. Get this book, Surviving and Thriving as a Gay Black Man, officially launches July 15th, and it is everything, all right? Make sure that you follow Terry Dyer on all social media at Terry D Sings,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yes.
On Instagram and at Facebook, he's under Terry Dyer. And if you're smart, you'll grab your copy on Amazon tonight. All right. Now, baby, you know how we end every show. You got to scream FayWhat at that camera when I say 1, 2, 3. FayWhat! Yes. Thank you, Terry, for being
you,
on my
baby.
show. I
Thank
adore you.
you.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Buy his book. All right. And we'll be right back. So that's it. That's the FayWhat show. I hope that you had fun. Thank you so much to Jamaal for joining me in bed. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being gorgeous. Thank you for bringing light to so many people. Thank you for getting back on social media because I miss seeing your naked body.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know you didn't want to come back, honey.
Yeah.
But on behalf of all the people that get to see your beautiful naked ass body with just like one little string, he's got these weird shorts that literally is just like, and then he stands like this.
Oh God, that's my last
It's so
post.
sexy.
Yeah.
I don't stalk Jamaal. Not at all. Thank you, Jay. I love you. I'll see you next week. All right. You know, folks, I'm really passionate about trying to connect the L and the G in our LGBTQ plus community. It's often hard for us girls, but if we believe we are one strong community, then we must support all the letters of our LGBT and Q plus. We opened the show with a nod to Mary Tyler Moore and That Girl's Marlo Thomas. This show is dedicated to a strong LGBTQ plus community. I just encourage you to be a little bit kinder, a little bit funnier, and to embrace our tremendous diversity because it really is what makes us so damn strong. Until then, make sure you follow me on all social media outlets, Facebook, IG, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube. You know the drill. Follow FayWhat. Until next Tuesday at 9 a.m. live or anytime on demand. I'm your girl, FayWhat, and I'm #ThatGirl. I wish you a week full of sunshine and rainbows. Please consider fostering or adopting a pet in need. Love you. Stay gay.
Rainbows, gay boys, hashtag that girl. Sunbeams, drag queens, L word. Is that girl the girl of all our dreams? She's everything that every girl should be. Aqua, South Beach, hashtag that girl. Pride-filled, tea-dance, Wilton. Is that girl Latina, but she's universal too.